Welcome back. So now we are going to use the Illustrator template. So go ahead and download that and put it where you need it. Usually everything just gets thrown into the downloads folder, and you're going to really want to move that to your own folder. It's also under Illustrator templates. If you go to the main folder, Worksheets, Illustrator templates. You can download it there. So I'm realizing why I couldn't find something I was looking for in a toolbar, and that's because there's one more thing that I could open up that could be useful. And that's the control menu. So first I'll open up the Illustrator folder, or the Illustrator document. And if I go to Window and click Control, now I can see the document setup that I wanted to see in editing artboards. Let's take a look around. I'm going to zoom out. If I hit Z, I can zoom in when I click, but if I hit Alt and Z, I'll zoom out. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, technically 10 different windows. We're not going to worry about this side right now because we kind of did this. So what I'll have everyone do is just turn on things like viewing the grid and snapping to the grid. This grid is in 1/4 inch increments, and it'll just help for when you're lining things up. We can take this new shape that we just made and put it into the box that says starting idea. If the shape that you made isn't quite something that you like, the other option would be drawing something and maybe using a ligature or a font. I really like these ampersands. They give me kind of a dynamic shape to start with. I'm going to change the type of font because I just want to show you all the different options you have for ampersands. Let's make this big enough to work with it. 72 is big as a box. And you can see all of the versions of the ampersand. Just find a shape you like. And you're going to go to Object, Expand, or Create Outlines. And you have to decide, do you want to keep the whole or get rid of the whole? If you were to get rid of the whole, it's as simple as using both Unite and Merge. If you want to keep the whole, we have to zoom in and use the Shift-D erase tool. So that's me keeping the whole. And then in this section, you just have to, again, doodle something. Earlier I was trying to use a brush, and it was like too small. So I was just going to show there's some interesting ones by Galia that I paid for. Some of them are chains and ways of doing hair, which are kind of interesting. Here's the chain. This one is hair, for people who don't want to just draw lots of things over and over. But in this case, I just want to use something as simple as the swishy paintbrush tools. So let's say I'll do something where there's a lot of things that kind of branch off from each other, but don't make any holes. I mean, I could make a hole. It'll just fill. All right, so maybe that's my shape. Select all of that. Right now it's just a stroke, so I'll need to go to Edit, Object, Expand Appearance. I'm going to close all these windows I don't need now. Pathfinder, Unite, Merge, and expand or group if I have to. So let's see, ungroup, expand, when in doubt, expand. And then, yeah, let's see what happens when you go to Object, Blend, Make. Maybe you'll get something you like better. I'm going to go back to Document Setup. I'm just going to expand my white area to see things better. And clicked off to get out of that mode. And I should be able to select both and hit W, which also gives me the blend mode option. And maybe you might like one of these shapes a little better. The reason I liked going with the image shape is because if you wanted to, this could turn into one of the icons that you create based on an image, blending with something else. But honestly, there's something really cool about the things that you draw with a brush, meeting the fonts, typefaces, and ligatures. I mean, I think these are kind of interesting looking, especially if you were to, let's release these, rotate them. Maybe you see a dog running. This is the kind of thing that's interesting to me, is like, what can you imagine with these things? Because the hybrid forms themselves lend more to the imagination of using it. But a little bit of the details of this could be really useful if you cropped in really far in and thought about playing with the something being ground dominant, figure dominant, or in this case, it's ambiguous. So starting with this shape, I'm just copying and pasting it into here, and this is my finished one. That's all I have to do. I want to use these lines, but in order to use them, put Pathfinder back. Oh, there we go. I just need to let it pull out. I need to unclick. I believe it's the template or keep this, one of the two. All right, it is in keep this. So I'm going to Command C, or I can do Option and drag. And copy and paste. I'll make this version white. This is my implied shape. And keep rotating it. Maybe I see something different. Maybe this needs to be really big. In order to be more interesting. That's kind of interesting. So what I'll do now is I will cut that out so that I'm only keeping what's in this box. I'm clicking and dragging a box over it, clicking Shift to select both, and then I'm going to say, I believe it's trim, or I guess mine is back. Well, that's cool looking too. These are all different options. That's not actually what I wanted, but crop is what I wanted. But honestly, all those other options work really cool too. So now I will paste this in. Make it large again. Maybe I just want certain sections. I'm going to use the direct selection tool when I select all of it, and I'm going to choose divide. Now this is going to give me a lot of lines to choose from. But I can just hit delete as I go. Sometimes I have to hit delete twice. Or I can click and drag and delete entire swaths. If I only click and drag and delete once, you can see that it might leave some things that you think are interesting. It almost looks like there's a stroke, so I'm going to hit no stroke, and I'll make this black. So I can't see very well what I'm clicking on, but sometimes that's part of what makes something interesting. A little bit more of the unintentional things. So right now I'm just making some kind of new composition based on clicking and deleting lines and seeing what that looks like. I think that's interesting enough. Curve goes up, gets jaggedy, and then is almost entirely filled. Now if I select this, try not to delete the other boxes. But I forgot my image is kind of intruding to my other spaces. Okay. So that's enough playing with the shape. And I still want this to all be black. No outline. And then maybe I'll just group this. Or maybe it is grouped already. It's grouped already. Oh, there's still something somewhere. I'll lock this again. Command F pastes it on top. Okay. So with conventional abstraction, that's as easy as rotating and mirroring certain parts. You know what might make this easier? I'm just going to select a portion of this. I hit Shift X to give myself, instead of a black box with no outline, black outline, no box. And if I've got my viewfinder, I can see what part exactly do I want to save. Actually, let's go with this thing. Looks like a weird person's head yelling. And then I will choose crop. Command C, Command V. I can right click and tell it to select. Select both things holding Shift and clicking. If this looks familiar to you, it's because we just did this for making patterns. That's all this really is. What kind of way can you do interesting shapes in the negative space? All right, moving on, tracking, growth and change. One way you could do this is if things get bigger and bigger. Let me choose another section. Maybe I like Shift X. And crop. And bring this back to being squarish again. Maybe I'll change the color to be a little bit lighter. Interesting. when I changed the color, it seemed to have made it one solid thing, so I just made sure to delete the background again. It looks like it's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. What else can be done with this shape? Maybe I need to get rid of the outline. Maybe I'll need to make this an outline itself. And the interior will be white. Make it a thin stroke, 0.5 points. I need to remember what were my examples. Oh, interesting. Rotated. All right, let's try that. I wonder if I need to rotate around a point. Control C, eastern front. Object, repeat, radial. I'm not entirely sure if that's how I did it, but it also says gets bigger. And I wouldn't say that these necessarily are getting bigger. Move this back over here. Well, I guess one thing I could do is release this, expand, object, expand, object and fill, and ungroup. Why don't I have the next one have a thicker stroke than the other one? So 2, way too thick. 1, this will be 0.75. This will be 2. This will be 4. Almost exponential. Another thing I've seen is this option for width, which I'm not entirely sure how it works within like a compound line in shape. Honestly, it looks like it doesn't really work, but I'm sure if I had a single line and I went from there to there, oh, I'm still using the stroke. Let's see, 0.01. But if I chose width, there we go. Looks like it, oh, interesting. It gives me an option of changing this in a lot of different ways. A lot of confusing ways, but a lot of ways. There are so many ways you can change the width. Oh, we can change it along the line. Okay, interesting. Even make it more organic. I was just trying to emphasize even more the growth thickness of the line work. But I guess when I do that, I do lose a little bit of the natural shape and edge. So I'll get rid of that. What else can I do for tracking growth and change? Oh yeah, I was just going to do scale itself. I don't know if this is my eyes playing tricks on me, but I feel like I see both the Roadrunner and the Coyote Looney Tunes in one image. All right. Command C, Command F, Alt and Shift. Command F, Command D will do that again, and then do it again. Command F, paste it on top, and Command D, Command D, Command D. All right, let's make this one darker, lighter, lighter, more light. And let's actually make these things shrink to fit this box. Or I could crop it. Yeah, maybe I'll crop it. Shift and Alt. Let's make it big again, or upside down. Make my box, select it all, crop. And just delete the outside box, just in case. All right, 3 kinds of tracking. Grid. Let's use maybe the whole thing. I believe you have 2 options here. And I'm just going to zoom in to grid. Actually, let me cut that out. Try to find the one that's just for the grid. Utilizing a grid, there we go. Starting ideas, this shape. I'll put it in this area here. And I believe I could either do repeat or pattern. But let's try repeat grid first. I want to say that I didn't love repeat grid because it doesn't allow you to edit it. Like it's kind of like just dealing with an uneditable pattern, like when I did a fill with swatches. But either way, that's one option. Paste that in as a grid. It looks like I can double click and move it around. But where's my options? I think if I go to Window Properties, it might give me some options, but I'm not sure. Grid is not an option in the window. Object repeat options grid. Okay, here's my options. Flip rows. Oh, it's not even giving me a visual. Oh, It changed something. Object, repeat options. All right, now it's letting me see it under preview. So again, if you did the pattern project, this should all seem familiar. This is kind of cool looking already. I'm just going to hit OK. I mean, I can change so many options that it just kind of never ends, you know? But I liked this one that is grid type. Brick by column. I flipped on the horizontal but not the vertical. And then did not flip the column and did not flip it vertically. Cool. Okay. Not bad. Double click gets me out of there. What are other options for grids? Object, pattern, make. I don't really want to do that. Let's do another grid. But let's maybe zoom it in. All right. Repeat options. Give me my options again. Turning everything off. So this is my very boring version, where everything's perfectly on top of each other, I believe. Giving the space between each other. Okay. Oh yeah, you can go negative when you're making your grid options. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Command C, Command V. Shrink. No, I don't believe you can work. Can you maybe expand? Huh? Look at that. All right. Object expand means you can work with this further. And it's that time again. If you have not hit saved, definitely save. I'm just changing it because I happen to have an old version of Illustrator as well. Alternating rhythm, 3 the same. I'll let you do another grid on your own. What are my examples? Ah. Interesting. When I did the grid, I would have said that that works well for the alternating rhythm. So maybe let's try that. I'm going to crop it differently. And I'll crop a copy of it. Shift X. Find a place I want to crop it. copying circles within circles. Didn't seem to want to crop. Try divide. I'll delete whatever's in the middle, delete whatever's on the outside. There is some stuff I cannot see. I just selected the parts I can see, 2 chunks, Command V, and maybe this time I'll use the grid a little bit more. Alternating rhythm. Stroke. Still seems too bright for that to look like it's getting smaller. It has a nice alternating rhythm to it. Let me do some more examples. Oh yeah, it shrinks. Maybe I'll work in the alternating rhythm one. And I'll do object, offset path, round, okay, one, I don't know if it did anything. Alright, what I wanted to do was create a stroke that got either bigger and bigger or smaller and smaller. Command C, Command F, object, stroke, offset path, round, major limit of 5. I need to give this a outline. And no inside. Command F, Command D. Very strange. Alright, oh. Command C, Command F, object, path, offset path. Command F. Transparent object, offset path 4, stroke 4. Command F. Object path, offset path. Offset path, stroke 8. And instead of cropping this one, I will crop the one I insert in. And I want just this section. Ah, it did not work. If you saw what I did there, I actually need to select all of this, not including the box. Go to Object, Expand, fill end stroke, make a new box, fill 1 point stroke, crop. Yay, nice and clean. And the last one is any other composition to try another iteration. Interesting. Looks like I made patterns and then cropped them within a shape. But was using a grid of some kind. All right, I will leave the rest of this time to you to make more iterations playing around with your shapes, from grids to creating rhythm to other compositional things. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. Command C, Command V, maybe I'll make it white. Has to be at least 3. I feel like I lost something somewhere. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes you might even want to save a copy so that you don't accidentally do something and you find out much later that, oh no, I cut something and it made something else disappear. This is a good reason to start making versions. Because honestly, you never know. All right, good luck, y'all.